Few movies manage to sell you a sports story, a love story, and a midlife crisis in the same 2 hours. This movie tried to do all three and somehow gave us lines that everyone quotes 30 years later. Tonight, we're talking Jerry freaking Maguire.
And now, our feature presentation.
Fussy. Who hired this crew?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. Show me the money! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
Yeah. I thought this was good. Hello, boys! I'm back!
Show me the money. Welcome in, everyone, to 52/1996. It's Oscar Sunday, the most important day of the year for some people, and also one of the most pointless, but it's fun still. I love it. Again, welcome in to everybody. This is a live movie conversation podcast where we, go back in time a little bit, 30 years to be exact, and we dig into the films of 1996, one movie at a time. I'm your host, Cody, and this week and all month long, I have been joined by my wonderful co-host, Ryan, and we're breaking down Oscar movies from the 1997 Oscars, and we're talking about Jerry Maguire, if you didn't catch me saying that earlier. So if this is your first time, welcome in. We love having you here. The idea is pretty simple. Every week for 52 weeks, we revisit a different movie released in the year 1996. We're talking, legacy, some of the performances, trivia, awards, all those fun things about the movies that we have seen and loved and watched over the years. And like I said, we're in the middle of our Oscar month theme, which is titled "It's an Honor to Even Be Nominated," spotlighting the 1996 movies that were nominated for Best Picture at the 1997 Oscars. So let's get into this a little bit and talk to our guest. I think you said this either last week or the week previous, that this is your first time watching Jerry Maguire. Is that right?
Yep, I've never seen it. I guess over the years I knew what it was about, but it was a huge cultural movie. It was everywhere for a long time. It was quoted forever. Clips of it were used, parodies and like comedy sketches, like all of it. So it's like very iconic mid-90s movie that I just never got around to seeing.
Yeah. And this movie, I know you've seen other movies by the man that created this, Cameron Crowe. He's kind of a big name, especially in the 90s and even the early 2000s. And then he kind of takes a little dip.
Well, when I think of Cameron Crowe, I think of you. Because you used to stand, I don't know if you still do, but you stand Cameron Crowe really hard back in the day. And I was looking at his filmography, and I think that because of you, I always wanted to go back and watch more. But I think I looked at it, and I've only seen Almost Famous and Say Anything, and now this. So I'd only seen 2 Cameron Crowe films. I would have assumed I'd caught more. I feel like I saw Elizabethtown like as a kid when it came out. But, I don't remember anything about Elizabethtown.
Yeah, he doesn't have that robust of a filmography. Does a movie every few years, hasn't really done a narrative movie since 2015 with Aloha. He kind of came on the scene because he's a writer. And Cameron Crowe kind of has a fascinating career. If you've ever seen Almost Famous, that is kind of autobiographical, somewhat autobiographical about his life. He was a child prodigy, wrote about rock music, at a young age. When he was in his teens, he traveled the country and interviewed bands and did all the things that William Miller's character does in Almost Famous, and then kind of transitioned that over to writing screenplays. And most famously, he's the writer of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He also wrote another movie called The Wildlife, which I have never seen that one either. But then, moved into the director space with Say Anything in the late 80s. And that kind of sets him on his course of being this guy.
Right.
I
I'll say, having only seen Say Anything and Almost Famous, and now seeing Jerry Maguire, we'll talk about some of the things Cameron Crowe does in his
yeah.
movies that I do really like. It's a bit
Yes.
unwieldy, but like I like his perspective. I like what he tries to do with his films. I don't know what he did after this or later in the 2000s, if he tried to change that or kept to the same formula. But we're talking like very, very written, very dialogue heavy,
Yeah.
and about earnestness and sincerity and optimism in a way that I like a lot. And always like, 20% too long.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
I mean, I don't think Almost Famous is too long, but Almost Famous is long. Like, it stretches at the end.
And then he released the untitled version of it, which is, 45 minutes longer than Almost Famous really is. And that's the one he's like, yeah, this is my true vision, of course, with directors. But yes, entirely too long.
I do think I root for Cameron Crowe. One day I want to go back and watch some other ones. I'm definitely on his side, whether or not he lands, sticks the landing or not.
Yeah, and I think that is when I watched Jerry Maguire this time, and I have not seen this movie since I was a child. When it came out, it was iconic. I remember, even having not watched it for almost 30 years, I still remember some of these scenes very vividly. I could quote them. I could, know exactly where they're going. I have a smile on my face watching them. But like going back and knowing what I know about Cameron Crowe, and for years I used to say Almost Famous was my favorite movie of all time. It's still very, very high on my list.
I think so too for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie, and it actually hit. But like even watching Jerry Maguire, it is the perfect balance of the things I love about Cameron Crowe and the things that I don't love about Cameron Crowe. And I still like, it's so charming that I can't not like this movie. So we'll get into it, but let's break it down before we get into our categories for discussion. So let's learn a little bit more. The title of the movie, of course, is about our character, Jerry Maguire. It came out December 13th, 1996, written and directed by Cameron Crowe. Stars one of the biggest stars in the entire world, still to this day, Tom Cruise as Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr. as Rod Tidwell, Renee Zellweger as Dorothy Boyd, Kelly Preston, Rip, as Avery Bishop, Jerry O'Connell in here as Frank Cushman, Jay Moore as Bob Sugar, Bonnie Hunt in here as Laurel Boyd, Regina King as Marcy Tidwell, Jonathan Lipnicki as Ray Boyd, Todd Luizzo as Chad the nanny. Had to include him because he was a great little addition in there. And Beau Bridges, uncredited in this movie. Don't know why he didn't want to be credited. As Matt Cushman, Cush's dad. Just went.
Yeah. I will add real quick. Well, two things. One, you saw this. You liked this movie when you were younger. Was Jonathan Lipnicki like your first hair idol? Did you?
Yes.
Did you model
It's crazy. Like Jonathan Lipnicki is just a few years younger than me, but I could even tell when this movie came out. I was like, "That's an adorable kid." Like,
oh my God, I was blown away. I mean, we'll get into it. I was blown away with how cute Jonathan Lipnicki was. Stole the show.
Oh my God. Like those are the glasses I had. Like I had a pair of glasses that big. I was not as cute as this kid. I promise.
I bet you were. I bet you were even cuter. Also, going over the cast, I will point out that there are around 28 cameos of I guess athletes and actual sports people. I read all the names and I recognized 3 of them. But there's 28 people playing themselves in this movie, and I've at least heard of 3 of them.
And some of the footage that they have is from an actual Monday Night Football game too. So I wonder if they're counting those in the cameos.
Oh yeah,
like they're just at a Monday Night Football game getting footage of that.
Maybe but I mean, there's big ones. Obviously, Troy Aikman's a huge one.
Troy Aikman,
Mel
Kiper's a big.
Bledsoe's in there, and it's just like the newspaper picture. I don't know if he's ever around.
Yeah, I think he does show up. I think he's at the draft. The draft night thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of cameos. Lucy Liu is in this movie. Did you see that?
I saw that, and then I was looking for her in the second watch, and I didn't see it. Is she in the bachelor party video?
Yes, the bachelor party video.
I was looking for her, and I didn't notice her. But
yeah, and there's a couple other people that have gone on to do in that specific bachelor party. Ari Spears. I forgot to mention Ari Spears as his brother. But yeah, there's a lot of people that have very minor roles in this and kind of steal some moments for this movie. And I'm very eager to talk about them. But if you didn't have a chance to watch this movie because you're trying to do the Oscar death race and trying to watch everything ahead of time, I know the feeling. I still came up short on it. Did you finish?
I finished every single one,
Wow.
and I started like 9-10 days ago. It's pretty much all I've been doing outside of obligations and work. I think my girlfriend's a little sick of it, but I watched one battle after another this morning, and then I was finally done.
There were 2 movies that I was just like, I can't. Like, I had the worst day yesterday because all day yesterday I was going to watch nothing. I was going to finish it out, and I just had some circumstances pop up that I could not do anything.
Well, I was a little lucky because I was going to give up on having the time to watch the Diane Warren documentary that's only nominated for an original song. But then I had some plans fall through, and I was like, well, I'll put this on until so-and-so gets in touch with me, and I ended up watching it all.
Time to watch Viva Verdi.
Yeah, I watched Viva Verdi. It's pretty cute.
All right, so if you didn't get a chance to watch Jerry Maguire, the synopsis is this. When slick sports agent Jerry Maguire has a crisis of conscience, he pens a heartfelt company-wide memo, mission statement, that promptly gets him fired. Desperate to hang on to the athletes that he represents, Jerry starts his own management firm, with only single mother Dorothy Boyd joining him in his new venture. Banking on their sole client, football player Rod Tidwell, Jerry and Dorothy begin to fall in love as they struggle to make their business work. This movie had a budget of $50 million and a box office return of $273.6 million. This was the number 4 movie of 1996. Crazy.
So that's got to be going to a lot to cast, right? I mean, I guess they have a 1 or 2 kind of football games. But yeah, it's an expensive movie to make, so it must be all cast.
It has to be like, I bet like half of it is Tom Cruise. Has to be. Rotten Tomatoes has this at an 84%, IMDb 7.3 out of 10, Letterboxd at a 3.6 out of 5. Roger Ebert did like this movie. I said like, did not love. He says he gave it 3 out of 4 stars. He said the screenplay knows enough about sports agents to make that the subject of the whole film and enough about romance too, but there are so many subplots that Jerry Maguire seems too full. Less might have been more.
That's the only thing I wrote down for reviews because I disagree with that. I have complaints about this movie, but I think they should have done better with the plots they had. I didn't feel like there was too many subplots.
That is a weird thing. I just felt like there was just a lot of plot.
Yeah, there was just a lot of plot, but then that's made me more punishing in my reviews of how they dealt with plot sometimes because I was like, all right, well, you have all of this time. You're doing so much. Like I can say you should do this a little better. I do think it was a little long, but I mean, for the feel of this movie and the style of this movie, 2 hours and like 17 minutes in 1996 for a kind of romance comedy is like long. That's long.
That's long. It's very long. And there were still like moments where I was like, God, like I wish there was more time on this thing and less time on this thing.
Yeah.
To really help with the plot and make it more believable.
Yeah.
Because there were movies aren't supposed to be believable, I guess, but some parts are. And there was just, this feels like it happens in the span of a week. And
well, then it doesn't. We'll get into that because that's what the biggest complaint. Yeah,
that's one of mine. Jonathan Rosenbaum, who I bring up here every so often, I brought him up last week. He hated Fargo, while Roger Ebert loved it. Hated this movie. He said Cameron Crowe, Tom Cruise, and Cuba Gooding Jr. are salesmen and we're consumers buying emotional truth. That's a brave message for a commercial film to have. Too bad it's unintentional.
Wow. Honestly, if Jonathan Rosenbaum's just a hater, if he, I would respect any reviewer that's like, I refuse to write a good review of a movie. I'm just gonna hate on all of it.
If anybody has a chance, I'm pretty sure if you Google Jonathan Rosenbaum, he looks like the melted man. Like he is just a very old, like it might even be the worst.
Every critic looks like that. It's kind of melting, yeah.
This movie did get a certain amount of, it has kind of a decent legacy I've written down here. Was nominated for 5 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing, and only won one of those. And it's probably one of the most famous Oscar moments of the last like 50 years, with Cuba Gooding Jr. winning and just it being so excited to win and going up on stage and jumping around. It's like one of those big Oscar moments that they reference.
That's interesting. I might have to go watch that. I missed that. I don't know who he was up against, but he's great in this movie, and I'm not angry that he won. Like,
no, not at all.
I mean, what a fall from grace. We don't have to get into it, but Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding Jr. turned into a bad actor and a bad person for sure. But man, when he at his peak, he was really, really good at what he does. You know?
Yeah. I think of like he's coming off like a couple years prior to this is like Boys in the Hood, and he's fantastic in Boys in the Hood, and this is a great turn for him. And then Snow Dogs and Boat Trip happens.
Yeah, and Boat Trip, and just a
Boat
lot of 911 calls too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, he's like you said, not a great person. In a February 2021 interview, Cameron Crowe said that he considered making a sequel to Jerry Maguire and that he'd been approached a couple times about making a TV series adaptation of this. He thought that it should focus on Rod Tidwell and his family with Marcy.
A TV series focused on sports agents, I think, could be good.
I like that. Yeah.
I don't know what a sequel would be about. That's kind of weird. I wonder what his idea.
Jerry's inevitable divorce and trying this again. Like, I don't know. Then also I wanted to say this was in probably more fun facts, but the Los Angeles-based artist collective Everything Is Terrible has a great social media presence online. If you've ever checked them out, have the largest collection of Jerry Maguire VHS tapes, observing that there seems to be nothing but just Jerry Maguire tapes filling our nation's thrift stores. I have no idea why. If you want to see it, they're trying to create a Jerry Maguire pyramid in the desert, and they're raising money to do so. If you go to jerrymaguirepyramid.com, you can learn all about it.
I love that. That's great. I believe it. I believe this was the movie of the year that like every like married couple bought for their personal collection.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had it. Every time I go to thrift stores and look for the VHSs and stuff like that, I'll see Jerry Maguire there, and one of the things I'm always like, oh, I already have it. I don't have it. I don't own it. I've done that so much that, and I'm pretty sure Alyssa has been like, hey, they've got Jerry Maguire. Don't you need that for the pond? I'm like, no, I already got it for sure. I just never buy it because why? Great though. All right. Anything else legacy wise that you had that you want to?
Nope.
All right. Let's get into this movie and talk about some of the best scenes from this movie that still pop out, maybe define this movie today.
Yeah, best scenes. I mean, you have like a VO to start, like a voiceover. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good start for a voiceover start. And then the big thing, it moves very quickly for a movie that will end up being very long. Because Jerry Maguire is a cutthroat kind of agent, but you only see him be cutthroat like one time, and that's the moment he decides to stop being cutthroat. And he surprises his big sports agency by writing a memo or mission statement.
I did forget this. This person is in this movie, and it relates to that cutthroat moment. Drake Bell from Drake and Josh is the little kid of the son of the hockey player. And the hockey player, the hockey player is Arnie from Pete and Pete.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see that now. Because the hockey player was funny with his like 4 lines.
Yeah.
But he's got, he's all in traction and everything. So you wouldn't recognize, he's all smushed up in his face. But yeah, it is Arnie.
Which I was like, hey, Nickelodeon. We got a lot of Nickelodeon stuff going on here. But yeah, Drake Bell from Drake and Josh is that little kid.
Who's going to be in Memphis in a month or so doing stand-up, just a Q&A. He's just going to be at a bar for $30 a pop. You can go and just like yell questions at him, I guess. I don't know what he's doing.
Town hall with Drake Bell.
I texted like 4 girls I knew who were like Nickelodeon heads or whatever, and Disney heads. And I was like, do you care about this? And they were all like, yes, we're going already. And I was like, cool, have fun.
That's great. I hope, I wonder if Josh will be there too.
If he shows up like just drunk and pissed off, it'd be hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Just keep him, yeah, Drake Bell. He's an interesting person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he writes his little manifesto, like a Unabomber
25-page memo about how we should be less greedy and be passionate about the beauty of the work we do. Less clients, more money. Less clients, less money, right?
Yeah, because you're focusing more on the clients that you serve.
Right. Instead of every single decision being about maximizing the dollars at the expense of athletes and enjoyment of your chosen work. Let's return to like a more pure version of sports agency. I didn't realize how funny that was until I said it out loud. The whole premise of this is like, we got to get back to what being a sports agent is all about, man. when Socrates was just walking around, in the agora.
We got to get these discus players some more attention.
So yeah, let's get back to the purity. I will say this is one. I don't even know if it's a complaint. I think it would have made this movie better. I think it could be really good. Is if throughout the movie you heard more of like the sentences in the memo. Because throughout this movie you will say like, "I love the memo," or Jerry Maguire will have doubts, or Renee Zellweger would be like, "When I read that, like I felt all of these things enough to like throw my career away, even though I'm a single mother." But you never really hear what's in it. So if there was Cameron Crowe being a writer who, spoilers for trivia, actually wrote a 25-page version of this document, you think there might be some good lines in there that you could use in the movie to remind the audience what this is all about. Because like I said, you don't get to see Jerry Maguire be very evil very long. And then he's just like, no, I want to do it the right way. And then mostly he's dealing with the fallout of that decision, not like spiritually embodying it necessarily.
Right. And I think the Bob Sugar character in that regard gives you the glimpse into what Jerry Maguire was, because he was his mentor and he did teach him everything he knows. So we do get a little bit, we get to see that, like,
and that's smart. That saves it. And it reminds you, hey, this is what he's trying not to be with his decisions. But I think it's a wasted opportunity to not have that memo in like the actual words in it be like, hey, remember when you said this? Like, what if Renee Zellweger pulled it out when he's doubting himself, or he's about to like, sell a soul a little bit? Like, what about this? You said that. That's why I fell in love with you, kind of thing. That'd be a really good scene, And
we get these interstitials with Dickie Fox, who is Jerry Maguire's mentor, or a guy that he looks up to. And I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to do with that, is those like 5 or 6 Dickie Fox things.
I love that they do that. I don't think it works.
No.
I don't think it's filmed quite right. I don't think it's acted quite right. But the fact that every now and then there's just a random guy looking at the screen and it's like him remembering what his mentor would say, it's like a really cool idea that doesn't make the movie much better.
And I think that is such a classic Cameron Crowe thing. That does not. Yeah, I think out of like all of his movies, he has these big grand ideas that on paper you're like, yes, you're brilliant, man. Like that's gonna really hit. And then when you see him, you're like, that does not hit.
Yeah, that's the way that I wanted
to. But yeah, chat says I hate the interstitial. I think it's his voice. Yeah. Well, that was a fun fact and I'm sure we have it there, that this was meant for Billy Wilder, the famous director that many directors to this day I love Billy Wilder films.
Yeah,
they're some of my favorite movies of all time. But they tried to get Billy Wilder so many times to be in this movie just for the Dickie Fox parts, and he was like, no.
I think he even showed up in like the day of, was like, I don't know if he got nerves or if he was like, this is stupid, or
that's what
he was like, maybe I hate these lines, this is a dumb idea, but he was just like, never mind, I'm not doing this. And they're like, oh, come on, Billy. Like a bunch of times he was like, nope. When he said no, he was out.
He was like, I did The Apartment. I don't need this shit.
Yeah. So like, I guess maybe they just found the next closest guy who was trying, but he doesn't seem like the warm, commanding, confident presence that he should be in those like moments.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't work.
It did not work. I love the intention though. I think and I think you nailed that when you were talking about Cameron, like your experience with Cameron Crowe, like big swings and like, yeah, he doesn't always get a hit, but he does take these big swings with these trying to make these beautiful moments with his writing. So
yeah.
What else? So
he brings this memo, he types it up all night as he has this crisis of conscience. He says, I'm incapable of bullshit anymore. And he sends it to everybody in his office and in his, like, his climate, his globe or whatever, and then shows up and everybody, he's scared of how they're going to react and they all applaud him. But behind the scenes, that doesn't work out. So the next big scene I have is Jay Moore, the guy that Jerry Maguire, Bob Sugar, who Jerry Maguire was his mentor, ends up firing him.
Yeah, fires him at Cronin's in public so that he can't make a scene. And don't worry, because Jerry Maguire will make a scene in the next scene when he goes back. And this is the scene I had after the him firing him in the restaurant. Is it's like the race to call all the clients. He says in that moment, like, I don't want just my clients. I'm coming for yours too. I'm taking them all. And
that's a really good montage of back and forth as they're trying to call their clients fast enough to see who they can get. sometimes, because I think Cameron Crowe is a writer and he's a very good writer. Sometimes there's like scenes like that work really well, and I just wish the script was a little better. I think a
Yeah.
lot of this movie, everybody's like earnestness and charisma is carrying a lot of it, but the words behind it feel like first drafty to me and need to be punched up a lot.
And I think in the like he says these like I don't know what he's trying to do with some of the dialogue that he's like. Some of the dialogue is very good, and like there were times I would be watching it, and Alyssa would be watching it, and we would repeat a line. And we were like, "That was a good line."
Yeah,
like, that
there's
was
a
an
lot of
amazing
great lines in this movie.
And then there would be other times that I'm listening, and I'm just like, "No human being would ever say those things." Like that's a written thing. That's not a spoken thing. If that makes sense. I was like, just doesn't hit quite in the same way. Does that a lot in Elizabethtown, just for comparison. Like there are so many lines in Elizabethtown where I'm like, nobody would ever say this out loud.
He rewrote this script a lot. He had it for years and rewrote it a lot. And I think maybe a writer, I can understand a writer gets stuck in the rewriting cycle and kind of lose the thread a little bit. Which why, as cool as it is to say written and directed by a single name, and that is like the coolest thing you can do in movies. Get a ghostwriter, get a second pass, get a William Goldman in there or something like Goldman.
Goldman.
Yeah, William Goldman in there to say, all right, what you need is this is a wonky line. Let's figure out a better way to say that. Let's make this a little funnier. Some punch up would go a long way with this movie.
Yeah. Even though there are some lines or there are some really funny moments in there. Some of the funniest moments are unscripted too, which is interesting. But yeah, the calls to the clients here, which is where we get I think this is probably the biggest scene from this movie. Like what 1A to the 1B scene that we get later in the movie. And this is when Jerry is stuck on the phone with one client, Rod Tidwell, played by Cuba Gooding Jr., where he is just like desperately trying to get Rod to sign with him and get him off the phone at the same time.
He can call better clients or more clients. Yeah.
Yes, because Rod is kind of like, we are given this perspective of him, especially because we get an earlier scene with Marcy, who is in wherever Jerry is. I'm assuming LA is where they're at.
Yeah, it feels
and
like
then
LA. Yeah.
That same day, Marcy is back at her house in Arizona with Rod. That was a timing issue that I was like, what just happened? How is this working? Nitpick. But we get, this is where he says, show me the money. He gets Jerry to just scream things at the top of his lungs, like, I love black people. I'm your motherfucker. Like such good. But yeah, show me the money. Of course, the most famous line from this movie comes from this scene here. And he ends up getting one client, and it is Rod, and missing out on all of the other clients that he has.
And it should be said, not only are there a number of very iconic lines and scenes in this movie that live on. Something like "Show me the money," I kind of realized through reading about this movie was not a thing anybody said before this, and then it became something that we all kind of, not that we all say, and it's not every day or whatever, but like "show me the money," if you know exactly what somebody means, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that phrase. But I don't think it was in the cultural patois before Jerry Maguire.
And it wasn't even, this was not even the thing that Cameron Crowe, like he's been interviewed about Show Me the Money before. And he was like, this wasn't the thing that I thought would catch on. I thought the Quan would catch on. And I love the Quan.
I do not like the Quan.
I love the Quan. I think it's so funny.
This is why I couldn't be an agent, because if like my client was saying stuff like that to me, I'd be like, "You're dumb."
It's about the Quan, which I think is very funny here. But this also leads to Jerry Maguire like leaving the office because he has been fired. Which, if he's fired, in no way, shape, or form should he be able to take those calls and give those calls, or like get his secretary to give him the numbers and patch him through. Like, you're fired, you're done. You don't get any access to that stuff.
Right. That doesn't quite make sense. I could kind of go with it that it's like a cutthroat world, and he wants the fight maybe on this last, nobody's, and they're not calling security on him. That might be like a weak move in their eyes. Yeah. But like, all right, let's do it then. Let's have it out and see what you can carry out the door with you later.
And this is where I think we get into a little bit of the Tom Cruise that we get to see late, like his real persona comes through a little bit in this scene, as he's like, saying, I'm taking the fish, and who's coming with me? Y'all think that I'm going to freak out. and I'm not.
That was like a famous line. I was like, I'm not, because I remember people quoting that a lot. I think I forgot that was from Jerry Maguire. Like, don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna flip out or anything. And I'm not gonna lie. All right, so another problem I have with this movie that could be very well be disagreed with is I just have a problem with Tom Cruise as a human being and an actor. And it's hard for me to enjoy him from scratch in something like this. Now, he is an amazing actor sometimes. I think he needs to be hurt and vulnerable to be a good actor. But when he plays big, he is the most cringiest motherfucker
Yes.
ever. And it makes me want to turn something off whenever he thinks he's being funny, or whenever later on in the date scene, he like gets really is a guy like laughs at his own joke and then pounds the table really hard. I'm just like, oh, you're so gross. I don't want to be around you.
I agree. And he is such a good actor, and you see it within this. That's the like maybe him and Cameron Crowe are perfect together because there are so many great moments and then so many like that was cringy moments from both of them. But Alyssa even said, I think Jerry's crying at a later point in this movie, she's like he's a great crier. Like he looks so good, like he's doing it all there. But yeah, there is a clip of not Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise and Ben Stiller from the MTV Movie Awards that comes out a couple years after this, where Ben Stiller is acting like Tom Cruise and doing, big Tom Cruise things. And I'm like, that's just Ben Stiller doing an impersonation of Tom Cruise, but that's Tom Cruise's real. Like that was so real.
Well, yeah. When we get later on, like when he shows up drunk, I only think of like the Community episode where there's a Tom Cruise impersonator who does it perfectly, because his idea of being drunk is just like moving around a lot. Like he's just like, hey, he's doing jazz hands and shit. And it's so bad. It's such bad acting.
Bad.
Like, but then that became one of the quintessential like physical impressions of Tom Cruise is him in that scene, I think. I can't really do it justice if you haven't seen it. But if you see that scene where he shows up drunk, whatever he's doing with his hands and his body is so strange. That it became every time I've seen somebody do Tom Cruise impression, we're kind of doing that.
And the best part of that drunk scene is his interaction with Jonathan Lipnicki, which is completely improvised. Like all of that is just to a man and this little boy talking to each other, and that's a great scene. And it is the moment when he is acting. Tom Cruise is hamming it up a little bit and being drunk and stuff, but like he is the worst drunk actor of all time.
Yeah.
He's never had
He's a good laugh actor, though.
Great laugh.
He laughs really well. So that's why the Lipnicki thing works a lot, because he feels like he's genuinely thinks everything Jonathan Lipnicki is saying is hilarious. And I like that. That makes that scene really good.
Yeah, he just cannot drink at all. And he probably has never had alcohol in his life.
Well, I'm thinking till a few years later in Magnolia.
Yeah.
Like that character, like I saw that movie only recently. I'd never seen it before. And I was like, oh, well, this is like easy for Tom Cruise to be great in this, because I think Paul Thomas Anderson a little bit was like, Tom Cruise doesn't know that he's not playing a character, that I'm writing him a little bit as like the cult leader of charisma. Right. And that shows like the dark side of the same exact character as Jerry Maguire.
Another person that's like this is Ben Affleck. I would say that too. Like I think of Ben Affleck in Gone Girl, and he is playing a version of Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck thinks he's giving probably the best performance of his life. And it's just like, no, bro, this is just you.
I always feel a little bad for Ben Affleck because I always read him as like still middle school awkward. Like everybody keeps calling him like the hottest and most talented guy in the school or whatever, but he's still scared to make any choices whatsoever. So he's like doing what he thinks people want out of him, but it's never coming from him. And when you can see that happening, everything he does becomes very cringe.
What did you think of Tom Cruise in Magnolia? Did you like him? Like, did you like that performance?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great performance.
Great. And I guess he gives me the ick as a human being watching him do the Cameron Crowe role that I love, which is this is about the triumph of sincerity and optimism and earnestness, which is a story I'll always love. I love sincerity and earnestness. I wish we wrote more movies about that, wrote more stories about that. So yeah, I don't know where I was going other than like, because he gives me such an ick. I don't like him in this, but if you put him in a different environment, I like Magnolia. I'm like, oh, this is great. I love you.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, he's I love Magnolia. I need to go back and rewatch it, but that was one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances is Magnolia. And he's got some other
Born
great
on the 4th of
performances.
July is insanely good. Like he is definitely capable of doing some amazing acting. He's just not capable of telling us where Shelley Miscavige is. You know, wouldn't mind that. I'll give him an Oscar if he does that.
Yeah, step up, Tom. Like, just come on, man. The next scene that I had was the draft.
Is it the draft? Is that what it is? I have like the press event.
Yes, the
Yeah.
draft. Yeah. So that's when Kush is supposed to go number 1 overall. They're
Mhm.
trying to make their deals there, but he brings Rod along to, like, he's his only client right now. He's got Kush and he's got Rod, and he's like, Rod, you're gonna talk to all these people, and they're gonna know who you are at the end of this. So it's kind of like the being on 2 dates at the same time shtick.
Right.
That he has to, like, kind of balance who he's giving more attention to. He knows that his breadwinner is Kush, but the most loyal person he has with him right now is Rod. Rod will do anything and to get more money. Show me the money. That's what it's all about. So he's really trying to have his cake and eat it too in this scene, this larger scene.
Well,
here.
and it's a good scene because he kind of does right by them. I one of my favorite scenes is him walking the floor with Tidwell, with Cuba, where he just says, "Hey, we're gonna walk through," because Cuba Gooding Jr. is like, "What am I doing here? I don't like this. Nobody here cares about me." He's like, "It's okay. We're gonna walk from one end of this lobby to the other end. I'm gonna introduce you, and I'm gonna make everybody believe that you're the best kept secret in the NFL." And I like that because it does. This movie's so long, and there is a lot of agent things happening, but there is not really a lot of agent things happening.
Yeah,
it's just like, "Hey, give us a deal that we like," and then it's people saying no. And so this is like the only part that feels like strategy or mechanism of how Jerry Maguire actually does his job.
mm-hmm.
And we'll end up talking about it, I'm sure, later. But to bring it up now, like Moneyball is the inverse of this movie.
Yeah,
where you see so much mechanics and you get a bit of an emotional story through the mechanics, like it's underneath or whatever. Whereas here, like the mechanics of what the plot is underneath, and all these feelings are up front.
Yeah, Moneyball is. Yeah, a great comparison. Great double feature with this movie. I'm sure we both had it on our list.
Yeah.
For this, but
yeah,
you
get to see like it's more of a general manager there, but it's still like the whole that same world. Like you see the exact conversations and the exact phone calls and the exact tricks or strategies at play to make this world work. Where in 2 hours and 17 minutes, this is like the only scene I feel like I get that from a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Because the only other interactions we get are like him with Rod at like commercial shoots, which is whatever. And I don't know how much of that the agent actually handles. But yeah,
well, and then in the phone fight that they had earlier, like there's a lot of like, "Hey, I'm your man, I'll kill for you," all that stuff. And I'm sure that's a big part of the job too, but it's a little shallow for a movie that's all about it.
Yeah. And the big part of the draft scene here is this is where Jerry Maguire finally hits rock bottom. Kush has already made a deal behind Jerry's back to go with Bob Sugar because they're going to get him they're going to get him to Denver or whatever. So we figure that out, and Jerry leaves with Rod in a taxi and not in the limo that they showed up in. So that's the big thing. And also his breakup with Avery.
That's the third thing I had. Yeah, walking the floor, losing Kush, and then the breakup.
The breakup where she punched.
Yeah. I guess it's necessary. I don't even know if that whole like fiance thing is necessary in this movie.
I don't think it is.
And I don't think there's some good parts about it, but none of it's really good enough to justify it being in here.
I think she is
Kelly Preston, right?
Yeah, that's Kelly Preston. I don't, just getting the Scientology duo together. Yeah, it could be we could cut that part. That's 15 minutes.
I do love when she kicks the shit out of him though. It's pretty funny. She really hits him like she gets like a 1-2-3 combo. Like
and the scene with them together, we didn't talk about it, but it is definitely in some of my other moments here, like their sex scene and the moments after that where she's just like reassuring Jerry, and they're just naked the whole time without ever showing anything, and it's just like artfully set up. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Get rid of it all.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess they do accomplish making Renee Zellweger a completely different than what
Yeah.
he's used to. And I mean that does something. They could have done a lot faster and better than it's done.
Yeah. What's your next scene?
So I guess it's the one that follows right after that, because he gets drunk because he's depressed at everything going wrong, and then shows up at Renee Zellweger's house. And that they've had like a meet cute before this, and obviously she walked out with him when he left the agency. But this is like the beginnings of something growing between them. Get a lot of good Jonathan Lipnicki. Yeah, and then you get this in a slightly inappropriate, but the beginnings of something happening between them.
Yeah, very weird with that. I mean, that's where the movie's supposed to be going. Like, it's all about this love story or whatever you want to call this romance.
It's on paper that he's depressed, he's drunk, he's got no friends anymore, he's got no girlfriend. He goes to his the woman who's his new business partner because he just doesn't know where else to go. He's got all this extra energy and he's impaired decision making.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they accomplish other than just saying, hey, it's the beginning of this part. Now they're going to slowly hook up.
We do get the introduction to Bonnie Hunt, though, in this. Laurel, who is, I think I saw it in the fun facts and stuff, but Laurel sees herself as the audience of this movie. And I was like, yeah, everything that Laurel says in this movie, I am saying from the couch to the TV. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. That's dumb. He's a piece of shit. Like, he's just gonna hurt you.
Right.
Don't do that. And I really like
a desperate man clinging at any warm body to make him feel less alone and less of a failure. And that's exactly what he is.
Yeah, she nails it. Yeah. So good introduction to her with this. What's your next scene?
I guess then the date, the non-date that turns into them hooking up.
The date is wild. Because Jerry looks like Jerry's dressed up like a 90s hardware store dad. Like, I don't know. And she's in like a phenomenal dress. And then they go to a Mexican restaurant in wherever they're at. Like,
right. I think, it's so weird because it's a non-date, but then she's treating it like a date, and then he's like, it's not a date, and then it turns into a date, and it all takes, and then they have a lot of like you said, like warm sex scene and like post-sex scene. It all takes a little too long for what it accomplishes. Then you have the whole conversation with the babysitter. We can talk about that later. Like, and then I like the next morning scene, although it's insane that the next morning she's like arguing with her sister. Like the guy who like 15 minutes ago, like it was weird that he showed up, and then she like didn't seduce him, but then they hooked up on a non-date, and then the next morning, while he's still in the house with their kid and everything, is like, I'm in love with him. I don't care what the fuck you say. This is my man. This is the one. And he overhears all of that and just like, that's cool. Yeah, because that's Tom Cruise. Because Tom Cruise can't act like a normal Jerry Maguire because Tom Cruise probably has had that happen to him every day of his life.
It is insane, and he overhears everything. And I think, like, obviously part of this, like, infatuation comes from him kind of falling in love with the little boy, Jonathan Lipnicki's character too. And I wish there was a little bit more about why he's so like in love. I mean, Jonathan Lipnicki's adorable, and anybody fell in love with this.
It's hard not to, yeah.
But like, I feel like we were missing out on a Jerry Maguire dad and his own father situation, and like imprinting that on him and this Jonathan Lipnicki character.
It would have been good. You know what would have been good is with Kelly Preston earlier. Like some kid happened to be around in public where they were, and then he like does a little joke with them, and then Kelly Preston's like, "Stop it! What do you focus?" You know, that kind of stuff. Like she doesn't care about the kids, but he does. That could like show a little part of his personality. Chat's pointing out the line, "That's not a dress. That's an Audrey Hepburn movie," which is almost it's a great line. It's Cameron Crowe felt really good writing it on a piece of paper.
It's a great line, but
in real life, it's hard to pull off. But I mean, I think it's doable.
Yeah,
I think my girlfriend would like if I said that to her. Yeah,
just put that one in the back pocket.
She was supposed to watch it with me. She didn't, so it's all free game now.
What if I was like, "Those aren't pants. That's a Katharine Hepburn movie."
That's great.
The next thing yes.
Oh wait, I want to talk about one thing.
Yeah, please.
One other thing. Because this is a big part of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. At my first watch, I was like, they don't have any chemistry. My second watch, I was a lot more complex. I think she gives a lot of chemistry toward him. And I think you get a really good three-dimensional view of her as a character. and why she feels the things, whether she feels them strongly and like positive things towards Jerry, or when later she feels negative things. I think all of it like really makes sense and feels like a real person. So I think the lack of chemistry is that Tom Cruise sold his soul to a cult, and he can't really connect with anybody except himself.
Yeah. I like Renee Zellweger, and it's crazy. Like
She's really good in this movie. She's a boring person in this movie, and she makes herself one of the only like interesting people in the movie.
And she's so young. Like that's one thing about Renee Zellweger is that one, she goes on to, she gets nominated for like Bridget Jones. She wins for Cold Mountain, Chicago, all these things in Judy most recently. Like she's a great actress. And I don't feel like
we don't appreciate her enough.
Yes,
I think we will one day look back and be like, why were we making jokes about her in the 90s and 2000s a lot? Because she aged into a non-traditionally beautiful person and chose roles that were more interesting, or all the Bridget Jones hate. You remember all that stuff and like late night show, like people doing Renee Zellweger impressions because their eyes were smaller and stuff like that.
Yes, it's very like Drew Barrymore face kind of thing. Like
doing that stuff. And then I'm like, she's so good. She's a treasure of Hollywood.
And she is 26 years old in this movie, which we need to, which is crazy.
They casting it really hard.
And she really hadn't done much before this. She was
Empire Records.
Empire Records was probably her biggest thing that she had done prior to this movie. So for her to come in here, star alongside Tom Cruise, who is the Tom Cruise, like at this point, this is Tom Cruise at the height of his powers. This is the guy that gets mentioned in every teen movie. Like, oh my God, Tom Cruise is a babe, and like, he is the top tier star here. So for her to go toe to toe with him in this, with a character that I don't feel like is always the best written, she does with it the best she can. And I think
in my second watch, I was like, there is chemistry. It's just all on her side a little bit. Yeah. I understand all of her feelings, and they're even when you don't like them or they don't make sense to you, they make sense as a human being saying them. And then it really saves a lot of this romance plot.
Yeah, I agree. So,
but I don't know why he's into her. I don't. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know why he's into her. Yeah. I don't know why she completes him. I don't like why he thinks that.
I think the only thing that I can think of is like she believes in him. So like the thing is like that manifesto is pulling a lot of weight in this movie. Like that is where a lot of the chemistry comes from, is from her being like, hey, you wrote this. This is why I believe in you. And I think that you're a smart person. And that is where I think that's it. Like, he didn't get that from Avery, because Avery was like, I'm into you because you're successful.
Yeah.
You've thrown everything away, and this girl still believes in you. So she's got to be pretty special.
Yeah. You're like you said, though, it makes sense. It's just carrying a lot of weight, and which is why I wish they would bring the memo back, or it feels like that he's so at the end of his rope the whole movie that he doesn't actually get to fulfill the promise to himself to be a better person. Like he's never being a bad person. He's just always like, oh my God, this has to happen. This has to happen, or I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. So you don't get to see him like be his new self very much. And so then you forget why she liked him to begin with. And then you wonder why, she likes him now.
I love that. I love that. Well, I don't love like the Jerry Maguire character is always like, oh no, this is failing. And then he's like latches on to the one person that has given him anything. He's like, don't leave me. Yeah. We're failing. Don't leave me.
Yeah. And he really doesn't. He doesn't do anything cool in this movie.
He doesn't. He's
like, he doesn't do anything that, like, even at the end when Cuba Gooding Jr. gets his contract, it's because Cuba Gooding Jr. is badass. Like, he's a good football player. He locked in. Oh, and so maybe he yelled at him in a good way at one point, but he doesn't, like, he has no forceful action except like trapping this woman. That's the only thing he does. Yeah. She's about to drive away forever. He's like, what if we got married right now?
How romantic. He's robbing the pootie. I had Help Me Help You, that scene. That's a very important scene.
The shower scene.
The shower scene.
The shower scene is iconic. It's just you get like 10 of those scenes between them.
Yes.
But it is a great scene. So I just didn't star it because I'm like, is this different from the Tidwell scene before, the Tidwell scene after,
Yeah, because it's like Help Me Help You, and then there's the camel scene, and that like comes right after right before the wedding that we get, because he's like, hey, don't rob the pootie, and then he's like, let's get married. Yeah. So I don't feel bad about sleeping with you.
Between Jerry Maguire and Tidwell, Cuba Gooding Jr., like it feels like the first time is the show me the money scene, and he's like, convince me why I should, take a big, huge risk on my career and go with you right now. And then he somehow does, and that's never really explained. Like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s loyalty to Jerry Maguire is never explained. Everybody, well, just Renee Zellweger and Cuba, like they love him so much,
Yeah.
and I don't understand it. And then every scene between those two afterwards, it feels like Jerry's still saying like, "Hey, stick with me, be my client." And I'm like, he already is your client. Do something. But like
Yeah,
every scene is like, help me help you. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, go do your job.
Yeah, and I think the best scene between Jerry and Rod is the one where they are like, "Oh, let me give you some friend advice. Like, we're friends. We are best friends."
Well, the
And let me
next
give
scenes
you,
I have include that. Like they're the end of the movie.
yeah,
Because you get like a maybe breakup scene between him and Cuba Gooding, and then a maybe breakup scene between him and Renee Zellweger. And then you get the Cuba Gooding thing playing out in a positive way, and then the Renee Zellweger thing playing out in a positive way.
right.
So that's kind of like that whole block of things, because it's like two relationships in this movie that he's trying to, do right by.
Yeah, my favorite one of the like "Help me help you" is iconic. It's a great line. But the breakup scene with him and Rod is where they're it is good. I think that's some of the better acting that Tom Cruise is doing in this movie, when he is not like, I don't even just being Tom Cruise.
I think it might be over an hour after the press scene where he's walking the floor with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only thing else other than that you could say that Jerry does for Tidwell is to give him this tough love speech.
Yeah,
which is a pretty good speech, but like it's not fully established that that's his problem. It kind of like feels a little out of nowhere. But you at least can latch onto that and be like, oh, he gave him that tough love. They may have broken up about it, but then Cuba came back with his head on straight and made it happen.
Yeah. I had the wedding scene that I had to talk about too, which is like a sad scene in my mind.
Sad scene?
It's so sad. Because Jerry doesn't want to be there at all. And then not only do they have the wedding, they watch the wedding video the same night that this wedding occurs. And like, that's when Rod's like, oh God, he robbed the booty. And I keep saying it because it's so stupid.
I hate it deeply.
It's so dumb. But yeah, this is where you're like, uh-oh, they got married for the wrong reasons, audience. And like, we didn't already know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. First of all, it's a bad pacing decision, because you want this all to happen over the course of a month, maybe. Right? Like, is that what you'd want this whole movie to happen over? Like, and the wedding makes it like seem like it happens over like 6 months to a year.
That the timeline of this movie makes zero sense.
Right.
I
think them being married is just a very bad decision in this movie.
Yeah.
Or like end it with a wedding. Everybody loves that. Shakespeare knows. Like, I mean, that's fine, but I don't know. It's just so weird to get married in the middle of the movie and then be like, why did we do this? Why are we like then have the rom-com breakup stuff that happens in every other rom-com without getting married first?
And we don't even get a lot of like Jerry faking it till he makes it too.
Yeah.
Like it's immediately this is a bad choice. Like this was the wrong thing. And she knows it too. She's not an idiot. And we get a lot of those scenes too.
They lay down some of the stuff with his like a bachelor party video where like all his ex-girlfriends are like, I'm glad he's getting married. Like at the beginning of the movie to the other woman. But like, he can't be alone and he can't be intimate either. So like it's such a fucked up thing to do.
Hey, for anybody out there that's planning a bachelor party for me, please don't get a video of my exes that's being like, he can't be alone.
All my exes criticizing me, and then all of them having the same criticism. That's the most damning thing. They're like, oh, they must be right because they're all agreeing about this. Not just like he eats in bed, but like this fundamental human flaw about me.
Yeah, thanks, Eric Stoltz, for your 5 seconds in this movie to do this.
Isn't Donald Logue over there?
Yeah, he's in here too. God,
he's the one. He's like, hey, like saluting them. He's like, that guy's screwed.
Do you have anything before the Monday Night Football game?
No.
Okay, so yeah, the Monday Night Football game is the big deal. Jerry's there, as his age, him and Dorothy are not doing so well. And he's like, you're the only thing I got left.
I love that moment. I love that moment where after they fought, like Cuba acts it perfectly, where all of us they're sitting next to each other, awkward as two bros who have just been in a fight, like, and then he just kind of smiles real big and he elbows them and he's like, "I'm glad you came." It feels very real that it's the first time that I actually, because they keep calling each other friends. I'm like, "Are you friends?" But that felt like a friendship thing. And then he goes, what does he say? He was like, "I missed you," which I thought was really sweet of him to say to a full-grown man. "I missed you." And then I feel like he kind of ruins it. Maybe it's supposed to be a little bit of a joke where he's like, "You're also all I have left."
You're all I have left.
Why did you ruin that great moment?
One little beat, just because of that scene, reminds me of it. Every time that Rod comes up to Jerry Maguire in this movie, he hits him so hard.
Yeah.
Every time he like hits him on the shoulder, and he always like recoils into it. I think it's such a funny thing.
Here's another thing, like adding on to that. He's supposed to be, because he said with the voiceover and everything, he's like, "This is what I do. I make gods. I'm a sports agent." And then everything about being a sports agent that I can tell from this movie is people just screaming at you and saying, "Lick my boots. Repeat after me." And you're like, "Yes, sir. Right away, sir. I will. Yeah, you can hit me as hard as you want. Help me help you." And I'm like, you guys don't seem cool. You seem like toadies and like middlemen who are just robbing athletes blind.
Yeah, that's what a sports agent is.
Yeah, but this movie's supposed to make it seem like Wall Street, right? Like.
Yeah, I think like I said in kind of the cold open, like it's doing the sports thing, it's doing the love thing, the midlife crisis thing, and I don't think it balances them as well as it as it thinks it's doing.
Well, going back to Roger Ebert, he said it was too full and too many subplots. I would agree more if it was like there's too many like thematic angles.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. Like, I'm going through a divorce and this crisis of conscience and my career's messed up and I'm middle-aged and I rush into a marriage too soon. And now I'm a new dad. Like that's all too much.
And I think it tries to spin too much. Like we were saying, like it tries to show you too much of, okay, this is what a sports agent does. And this is what they're like, it's trying to get too detailed into that. And
I'm not sure about that one. My complaint was that there's not enough detail about what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like
they're showing a lot. There's a lot of scenes of him being a sports agent. They're just not showing a lot in those scenes.
Yeah, I get that, but like I feel like there's so much wasted time.
Yes,
with those scenes that aren't doing a good job of it.
Yeah, if you want to have that much of it in there, then make it a little more like Moneyball, where I'm hearing and learning things about or I'm surprised by his ability. Like how he snakes out Bob Sugar, or he reminds this other guy, or he talks this other person into like helping them out in a small way. That kind of thing is what you would imagine. But yeah, it's not much in there.
Yeah, so we get this Monday Night Football game where the Arizona Cardinals are trying to get into the playoffs, and Rod is having just like a great game, and then makes the touchdown to put them ahead at the end of the game, but he suffers an injury, which is something set up earlier in this movie where they didn't take an offer from the Cardinals, and basically he's riding out his contract to go into free agency the next year to hopefully.
And because he doesn't have a contract locked in, if he gets injured, he's screwed, because then he's never going to get a contract and he's just out of the game forever.
Yeah.
They also are very heavy-handed in the beginning of this football game where he takes all of these heavy hits. And it's immediately like, oh my God, this guy might get hurt. And I'm like, I think by the end of this game, this guy might get an injury. Like,
the sports stuff is wild in this. So we get that, and then Rod is out. We get scenes with Jerry, which are I think Jerry calling Marcy at this point is great. Like I love that. Yeah. I love that so much. And him being like,
it does solidify these are friends. That's a family friend now. When I can't be with my husband, like I know Jerry's got his back, kind of stuff. Yeah.
And then Rod, wakes up, because concussion protocol is to clap your hands really hard in front of his face.
Well, first you got to go. It might be his neck or it might be his back. That's what the guy says.
Great.
I was like, yeah, it might be. It might be, yeah, his neck or his back, I guess. Regina King is a treasure. She's so good.
Oh my God. And I don't think I realized it. I feel like we've gotten a lot of Regina King as of late, when Beale Street could talk, the Watchmen show, or if Beale Street could talk, and Watchmen. And like, I do not feel like we got enough of Regina King from the 90s and 2000. Like,
I never
great.
paid attention to her until season 2 of The Leftovers. And I was like, who is this person? She's amazing. Turns out I've been watching her my whole life. And now every time I've seen her since, even in an old thing, I go, you're doing so good in this movie. I just never paid attention.
That is the big thing that I took away from this rewatch was like Regina King's incredible in this small role. And the only thing I remember from the 90s was a Chris Rock rom-com where he's an angel and falls in love with her. Like, that's what I remember her.
She didn't get a lot of leading roles, and the stuff she did with Damon Lindelof, she did so good in. I'm sure there are a lot of movies she's been in where she gets like some more acting to do that I just don't know about.
Yeah.
But I would love to find like hey, Regina King's like most iconic roles like list or something and watch them, because she's a hidden gem for sure.
Yeah. I love the Reginas. Regina Hall, Regina King. They're both amazing actresses. And I were put into like comedy roles and kind of got lost in the sauce. And I think they're both amazing actresses. So Christmas, Rod gets up from his definite concussion, starts doing a, celebration dance and everything, and solidified, like, everybody's happy. Yeah. And from that point on, he's like, where's my agent? Where's Jerry Maguire? That's my guy. We get that scene here.
Yeah.
And then it clicks kind of with Jerry. Oh, I'm missing somebody. He's on the phone with his wife, and I'm missing my wife.
I kind of hated that it is done well enough in the movie. I hate that, like, now that everything is going great for him, wait a second, I think I do want to go be a good husband and be present and be in love with my wife. But it is tied together with the famous iconic stuff. Like he says, and then we get to the famous like romantic speech that he gives to her when he runs back home, and he basically says, all of this great stuff happened and it wasn't enough. It wasn't complete because you weren't there.
I hate some of the stuff that he says.
Half of that speech is garbage.
He said, like, the cynical stuff, like we're living in a cynical world. I was like, how is this romantic at all?
Yeah. And he starts off being like, our business is doing really well right now. We had a good day today. I'm like, all right, bro, maybe not what you need to focus on right now.
But it leads us to that scene. I'm looking for my wife is what I titled it.
I used to be good in the living room as we start saying.
Which is something that he established himself, the Lord of the living room.
Yeah.
Like earlier, like
he says it like at the very beginning of the movie, and then it's never really done again. And all you ever see him is in like 2 living rooms with the Cush family, and he's weird and gross in both of them. And fails in both of them. So
he's not good in a living room at all.
I do love the choice. I thought it was awkward at first. I do love the choice of making him give that speech in front of the Divorced Wives Club. And I love the Divorced Wives Club. I could use more of them. I think more of them in the movie would have been good comedic relief and like almost like a Greek chorus of what's going on, right? Like the Bonnie Hunt character does. I think that would be great. I don't know why it's good. I do think that it made me actually not be cynical watching the movie, because I imagined myself having to like convince the love of my life to love me back. But I had like 10 women there watching me do it. That would be that would be horrible.
But he has to do it.
Yeah.
And then, I think it is interesting this is one of my least favorite Renee Zellweger moments. I think is when she's like, I hear you guys talking about like, men are the enemy, but I love that enemy. Yeah. I love men.
I don't know. It's not justified. It's not a bad line. I like that she says it, but it doesn't make any sense in context.
Yeah. So I didn't love that, but Jerry gives his little.
You had me at hello twice.
You had me at hello.
It should have been you had me at hello and bursting into tears, and they run into each other's arms. But it cuts away and he's like, huh? And then,
I did say that.
And then also he comes in and he doesn't say hello to her. But I mean, I get it doesn't matter. She hears his voice.
She hears his voice.
And he shouldn't have had her at hello. Like,
you got a lot of you got some splaining to do, is what I would
Because there wasn't like a fight where he's like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving," right? Like,
No, she basically was like, "Yeah, this is it for us. I know what this is." Like,
yeah, and I love her. I mean, I love her in the scene earlier when they're breaking up, and she's like, "Look, we can waste 10 years of me like being polite and you being like a slave to responsibility, but let's not do that. It's all very
yeah.
good." But then all of a sudden he just shows up and says hello, and she's like, "Screw it, I love him again."
Romance. And then yeah, we get them happily ever after.
Yep, we get one more scene to kind of wrap up everybody's like vibes, and then that's about it.
That's it. All right. Who is your favorite character, or were there scene stealers in this movie that that stood out to you?
Man, the scene stealer is easily Jonathan Lipnicki.
I mean, I had Lipnicki, I had Laurel, I had Marcy. I think
Bonnie
they're
Hunt
all.
was my other one.
Yeah, Laurel is great. I think Marcy is in. Like, I especially love Marcy in that scene at the end when Rod is hurt and she's going off on Ares' spear. Like, she gets up on the couch and like smacking him.
I wanted to hit him. He was annoying.
Yeah, that's his brother. That he is
it's crazy how much of a dick he's being. Like, and nobody likes it. And then also at the end, he's like, "Oh, little brother, whatever his name is, you're militant, but I love you." And then he's got like the Black Power shirt and does this. I was like, is he militant? I thought he was just an asshole. Like, that wasn't established anywhere before that he's like into like black politics in a way that also, why is that bad?
You're militant, but I love you.
Yeah. You fight the power a lot, but I still love you. Like, all right, man.
That guy just listens to Public Enemy. That's it. That's how militant he is. Yeah. Anybody else? Fair.
I want to at least give a little bit of credit to Jay Moore, who is a bad actor and I think a bad person. I'm not sure about that though. Jay Moore's kind of good in this.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a slimy agent well.
Yeah, he's got a very punchable face. He emotes pretty well. I always think of him as a bad comedian who was in some movies. I never think of him as an actor, but he was pretty good in it.
He gives me good Jeff Winger vibes, you know.
Yeah, I honestly like all of the Community law scenes when those episodes come up when he's like being seduced by his his old law firm. Yeah, it does feel like that. It's weird as a like villain and a counterpoint to Jerry Maguire. He's like around a lot and then he's gone and then he pops up for a second and leaves.
He's probably in this movie like 10 minutes total.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looms over it. It's all about like Bob Sugar. I got Bob Sugar on the other line. Bob Sugar this, Bob Sugar that. So he does loom over the movie for the most part. And
you know what? I know it shouldn't. They probably talked about it and then came to the same decision I would have. I also wanted to see the Kush kid, like I don't know, get paralyzed.
Like fail? Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of too mean. Like they're not gonna like. You can't have Jerry Maguire like root at this kid's downfall, you know? Like, but maybe if he was caught being racist on camera and like got fined or fired or something.
I mean, when Beau Bridges delivers that line, it does feel racist.
He is such a good actor, and in the few lines he has in this movie, I love him. I love him on screen. I mean, he's evil, but like he's good on screen.
Yeah, when he's like, "You were in the lobby with that black fella," I was like, that felt really racist.
Yeah.
It's not that much racist line, but it did feel it. So good job, Beau Bridges. Favorite quotes from this movie? Any lines that stick out to you?
Why don't you kick it off?
So I'll get rid of all the ones. So we've got "Show me the money," "You had me at hello," "Help me help you," and we didn't talk about this in the last scene, but "You complete me," where he repeats the lines from the beginning of this movie when they're in the elevator with the hearing impaired couple saying "You complete me" back and forth to each other. He says that to her, and that's really the important part of his speech that doesn't suck, is him bringing that back and saying that, like, you got me there, Jerry. So
yeah.
So I'm getting rid of those off the top, so we don't have to worry about those. What else?
Yeah, and all of those lines were like rent free in the monoculture's head in the late 90s. All the ones you just mentioned. I actually didn't write down who wrote these. I think they're both Dorothy, but at some point someone says, "I think in this age, optimism is a revolutionary act," which feels like Cameron Crowe's like thesis statement.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, just to be a little just to be militant about everything. When she says "First class is what's wrong, honey. It used to be a better meal, now it's a better life."
Dorothy has a great line too when she's talking to Laurel. I like this. It says, "I've had 3 lovers in the past 4 years. They all ran a distant second to a good book and a warm bath."
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good line. Good job.
She really does, like, she really sells her internal life very well in this
Yeah.
movie, and Cameron Crowe just wrote her better than Jerry Maguire, I think,
Yeah,
too, because he
I
doesn't have an internal life. His life, all of his feelings are out, like,
yeah.
and you don't think there's anything under the surface, but she, like, when she talks about, it's crazy because, like, a lot of people have kids at 26, and it's hard to be a single parent. However, I don't know that she's hurting for money. It doesn't, so they don't bring that into anything at all. The kid seems well adjusted, happy, and is like a group of people to help raise all of that. But when she says, like, I'm the oldest 26-year-old in the world, like, I feel that. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so sad. I want you to have the life you deserve, you know?
And like we get so much of her character from just little lines. We learn that she's widowed. We learn that that it wasn't a good relationship, even though she is with, like, it wasn't a divorce or anything like that, but it wasn't a good relationship with him. Like, we get a lot more about Dorothy and just these throwaway lines.
Yeah, and it's a little confusing because at some point, I guess she does miss him, but maybe she's just mad about everything that happened and how she threw her youth away, I guess, in a bad
Yeah.
marriage. But she's like, I have a reminder. I see a reminder of the past 10 years every day of my life with, like,
Yeah.
her kid and everything. And I was like, man, that's like, it's pretty good. And Renee
Yeah.
sells it, and the writing sells it, in a movie where the characters are not that deep. You know?
Also, she's an accountant, which is not an easy thing to become, like, to be into. So
Yeah.
she did have a college, she did go to college. She did become an accountant, like, and she's already got a job lined up because Jerry sucks. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
going to San Diego to have this other job. So
But yeah, can you imagine, like, 2026?
it's crazy. No, Dorothy's great. She's good. And that was
Chad
another
had a good one.
Yeah. Before they sleep together, Jerry says, this is going to change everything. And she responds with, promise?
I don't remember that line. That's crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
thing to say.
Yeah.
Both of them, on both of their parts.
What else?
I like when Laurel says, don't cry at the beginning of a date, cry at the end like I do.
Laurel's so funny.
That's an awesome line.
If this is empty, this doesn't matter. Dickie Fox, baby.
Oh, yeah. That's the big one at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first time I watched this movie, I was like, I didn't notice any of those. Like, they all just fell right out of the back of my head. And this time
Yeah.
I paid more attention to them. I lost the #1 draft pick the night before the draft. Why? Let's recap. Because a hockey player's kid made me feel like a superficial jerk. I ate 2 slices of bad pizza, went to bed, and grew a conscience.
He also has another one with Rod in the airport where he says, I'm finished. I'm fucked. 24 hours ago, man, I was hot. Now I'm a cautionary tale. You see this jacket I'm wearing? You like it? Because I don't really need it because I'm cloaked in failure. I love. And he says that. I think it's such
That's
a
an
good
insane
line.
thing to say.
It's such a good line.
I don't need this jacket I'm wearing.
Cloaked
I'm
in
wearing the
failure.
jacket of being a loser.
What else?
I like when he says to his fiance, he's like, okay, jump in my nightmare. The water's warm. It doesn't really make sense, but it's
No.
a crazy thing to say. Like, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, this person's a little crazy. I'm gonna calm down.
I have this line at the beginning of the movie, and the guy is titled, the character's title is Jesus of the Copy Mat. And it's when
Yeah.
he's getting his manifesto printed out, or his mission statement printed out. And he said, that's how you become great, man. Hang your balls out there.
And Tom Cruise is like in the emotional fury he's in. He's like, yeah, you get it. You get it. I am gonna be a hero.
This Alice in Chains guitarist gets me, man. So
Yeah.
it is the Alice in Chains guitarist.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned it a little before, but when he's trying to get the clients around, and it was like, Bob Sugar said you don't like black people, and he's like, I don't like black people. I am Mr. Black People.
Tyson, who the Tidwells have a child as well, who I think is also very adorable. When his dad gets a catch on screen, he goes, "That's my mofo," and then gets in trouble immediately. I'm pretty sure I got in trouble for repeating that line when I was a kid. So
I remember seeing the line, and then I thought he might have like said the N-word or something. I mean, he's a little black kid or whatever. Because Regina King is so much like, how about you be the first man in this family who never says that word, and then I can let you live. It's kind of a badass line, but I don't know why like mofo is like something she's like, let's break this generational curse and not say mofo anymore. like if he said bitch or something, right? Like
Yeah,
about a woman, and like, hey, how about you be the first generation that doesn't ever talk to women like that at all, you know?
that would be
But
good.
mofo is such a funny thing for her to be that intense about. Because mofo is also a 90s word. Nobody says mofo anymore.
Nobody says mofo. What else?
There's just that random guy at maybe it's Eric Stoltz at his bachelor party. Like he just says, everybody loves you. Pisses me off.
Good old Eric Stoltz. Love him. I think I have Ray. Do you know that the human head weighs 8 pounds?
Oh yeah, that's a classic one that was quoted all the time too.
All the time.
I was also led to believe that that kid has like 20 Snapple facts in this movie, and he only has like 3.
And one of them is about his neighbor.
Yeah, that's right. And he says the human head one like 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I think that's it. That's all I've got is that. Anything else that you have?
That's all I got. None of this is worth, yeah.
Yeah, I've got another line in the biggest laugh, cry, scare, thrill. So let's move on to that. What about biggest laugh, cry, scare, thrill? What moments hit the hardest emotionally?
We did talk about him. Oh, Regina King, we're talking about Regina King being amazing. And Cuba Gooding Jr. is really good in this movie. When they are given the crap Arizona Cardinals, like the bad contract, and they're deciding whether they take it and just try to live with that, or go be a free agent. When she gets down on her knees and holds his face in her hand and says, "You are a strong, smart, surviving, beautiful black man," like says something like that. And you can see on his face that like he gets his strength from being like supported and believed in by her. It was like really, really moving. Like in a movie that I think is superficially emotional, it felt deep,
No, I love their chemistry. It is out of this world. They are
Yeah.
great together. When they're in the restaurant together, when
Mhm.
she's about to give birth, when she's on the phone with Jerry and on the phone with him at the end of the movie, like it is so good.
And a lot of movies would have made her just the cutthroat wife that's
Yeah.
putting too much pressure on him and is only ever bitchy to Jerry, right? Like a lot of movies would have made her her whole character. And this movie makes her like be a mom, a wife, a woman who likes to have fun, a woman who will take a risk with her husband on Jerry and be okay with it too. So she gets to be way more 3-dimensional than most movies would let her.
Yeah. And it sets it up to be for her to be that cutthroat wife at the beginning, because
Yeah.
we see her come into Jerry's office immediately yelling about the contract and everything. But then she gets a lot more depth as the movie goes on. So-
One of the beginning of that scene, and one of the quotes I didn't read was like, they get the bad deal, and Jerry's like, "I'll go talk to him again," and she's like, "And say
yeah.
what? Will you please remove your dick from my ass?"
It was such a good line. Ray and Jerry on the couch, of course, I think is probably one of the funnier scenes in this movie. Them just interacting with one another, and him being like, "Let's go to the zoo," and Jerry responding with, "The fucking zoo is closed, Ray."
Yeah,
I
love that they let Jonathan Lipnicki say "fuck" too. He goes, "You said fuck."
He's like, I did say fuck. I gotta go. I hear my mom. I gotta go to bed. I hear my mom. I gotta go to bed. I love that whole interaction.
No, also when I don't know how they filmed that, but when he's on the phone with Cuba Gooding Jr., that shit's hilarious. Cuba's like, "Who is this?" You can tell it's a little kid, so I assume he's just having fun.
Yeah, him talking on the phone with Rod was on my list as
You
well.
talk too much.
You talked. Put Jerry Maguire on the phone. When Laurel says at the wedding, "You fuck this up, I'll kill you," and Jerry screams, "Glad we had this talk."
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of funny things. Well, one like awkward funny thing was when he's apologizing for showing up drunk. Actually, as he's leaving, he's like, "Oh, I feel so much like Clarence Thomas right now."
Oh my God.
And then they say it like 3 more times.
Yeah.
It's like, "You're not being Clarence Thomas." It's like, "I'm totally being Clarence Thomas right now. I'm like harassing you," which is funny because in 1996, people remembered those hearings. In my age, we forgot about them. I feel like I forgot about them. Never heard anybody bring that up to me until like podcasts reminded me that happened.
Yeah, it has been brought back up, so it did seem relevant. Are you Hootie?
Are you Hootie? So that kid. The best laugh, one of my best laughs is when he walks away like pissed off and surprised that he's not Hootie. That kid's eyes are hilarious.
Not Hootie. Oh my gosh. Anything else? I do think No, I was just gonna say Rod and Marcy together, like any of the scenes that they have where they're crying emotional is good.
Yeah, and we already talked about multiple times Renee Zellweger sells me on her emotional loneliness and frustration.
I
The
think
one laugh thing I had is because it feels almost surreal when at the beginning he's like, Jerry, I got ants in my house, and there's like hundreds of ants going up behind him.
his room is flooded. Like I think we need to say that that's what is his brother's name? TP or
Yeah.
I think that we've got a TP problem, not a house problem here, because
Yeah, he's causing
everything's
all that.
leading to his room. Yeah. Okay. Most ridiculous moments of this movie.
Yeah, I do have a lot.
I have several. So
First of
go ahead.
all, where's his brother who lost his leg in a bass fishing accident? Is he in this movie?
No.
They bring that up 2 hours and 13 minutes into this movie, and they bring it up twice. He's like shouts out, "It's like my brother, he lost a leg, but he's still out here doing it." And the guy's like, "You had a hard life. Your brother lost his leg in a bass fishing accident." And that guy, I was like, "That guy's not in this movie, right? I haven't seen him with one leg."
At first, I thought it was the Aries Spears character. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why he's living with him, is because he's got one leg." And like,
why he's pissed off all the time.
yeah.
I don't
So
think it's him.
it is not him. That's his younger brother who's militant, but I love you. This movie's insane. What else?
Everybody hates jazz, and I don't know why. I think that was like a 90s thing where jazz was a thing to be made fun of.
Yeah.
And I guess now it's just like, if you're into it, be into it, but nobody cares really. But like go out of the movie goes out of its way. And maybe because Cameron Crowe's like, no, man, jazz died when the Rolling Stones, let a black woman stand in the back.
I'm sure that's what I'm
Like,
sure that has to deal with it.
Because it goes out of its way to make fun of jazz so hard. And like to specifically bring up like Miles Davis and John Coltrane, who were like, even if you hate jazz, you got to give those guys their fucking credit, man.
Yeah.
It's some pretty amazing shit. So that was a what the fuck for me.
I had the sex scene with Tom Cruise and Avery, where she's screaming, "Don't ever stop fucking me!" Like I just think it's so insane, overacted.
They try to play it like a joke because it's like. So she says something like somebody says something about like, oh man, the woman who was with him must be like so classy. I think.
It comes right after that. She says,
and then it's coming to her being very unclassy, I guess. But yeah, it's dumb, weird.
No, I don't like
a speech about I'll sleep with a woman, but I don't really want to. And
it's weird. It is weird to me. I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous. So,
when Cuba Gooding Jr. gets knocked out. That whole scene is unrealistic and dumb.
Very dumb.
He's knocked out for like 10 full minutes. Then he gets back up like nothing bad ever happened. And then he gets to like delay the game for like 10 more minutes. And he does every silly thing he could think of. And then everybody's like happy and he gets to go back and play again. Like he doesn't get checked out by medical or kicked off the field for being a weirdo.
CTE is not a thing at this point. They don't care. They don't care at all. Speaking of Rod, his stats that they give early in the movie are insanely good stats. So it is a joke that he is not getting offered what he wants for that movie or in the movie, the 3 years, 10 million or whatever, 3 years, 20 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it is insane. Like those numbers today in today's NFL are crazy good numbers. Like,
it is like he broke every single record for Arizona.
Oh yeah,
but like the one guy's like, yeah, but he's not tall like most of the wide receivers are. Like, I get that you're not playing Moneyball, but also like you want that guy, right? He's amazing.
Like 110 receptions in the season is crazy good. Like
and
with 1,500 yards,
like 10 a game, right?
Yes, it's so crazy. Like and the game that he is like getting killed in, whatever. He has 7 catches before he even gets that touchdown. Yeah. It's great. He has a bad quarterback who is just leading him into. He does address that at one point. He's like, "Yeah, my quarterback sucks."
He keeps throwing it to the middle.
Yeah, he keeps throwing it out there. I catch the ball, but he's leaving me to die. Like,
is it because you get hit from multiple directions?
Yeah, like he's throwing him over. It is crazy. And another thing, like that, like size of wide receiver in today's NFL is, you like there's been like a
It's not that
renaissance of
crazy.
those guys like
Yeah.
coming out there. So the football stuff is kind of cringy because if you do know any like stats and football stuff like that, it's like you guys could have done a little bit more research and been like,
Yeah.
okay, let me give him some like
There's not a
middle
lot
of
of
the
it,
road
so they probably
stats.
thought they can get away with it, but
Yeah.
yeah. It like even to me, it was glaringly like this is fake and so
Yeah,
weird.
it's not
Or
great.
a very climactic scene that I'm supposed to feel a lot of emotion about.
Yeah. What else?
That's it. You said you like the Quan, I don't. And shoplift the pootie is the worst phrase I've ever heard in my life.
Shoplift
And
that?
fast forwarding to trivia, like Cameron Crowe said that people still come up to him and be like, "Oh, my husband don't shoplift the pootie."
Nobody comes up to Cameron Crowe and says that.
Probably not true, but if they do, I hope he doesn't enjoy it. I hope he hates it. And if you wrote that line, you should be reminded every day that you wrote that line and made me say it.
Yeah, it's not great. I also put the part of the speech that Jerry speech at the beginning of the movie when he's leaving. Like everybody thinks I'm just gonna flip out, like all that, and then like the fish part of it, like I was just like, I hate this so much.
Yeah,
these fish have manners, and I'm taking, they're coming with me, and
like that could be played to be funny enough, but even a better version of that's not going to be that funny.
Apparently, Cameron Crowe was obsessed with that fish. He was like, that fish is a main character,
but it's not.
But it's not.
I would love if that fish was a main character. I can understand like where he's going with that. Like throughout the movie, this one through line, this like symbol of his hope is that fish, but it's like only around a couple times.
A couple times you only see it. Best music moments of this movie.
There were a lot of them. A lot of music moments.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like I think Cuba Gooding Jr. doing What's Going On was pretty great.
It's pretty fun. Yeah. That's a good one.
The other one's Free Fall, and I don't really care for it. But
I honestly thought that scene was much longer than it actually is in this movie. It's like 15 seconds of him singing Free Fall and coming after, he nails the meeting with Cush's dad. He says the Free Falling thing. And I was made to believe that was way more iconic than it was.
I will say on the IMDb trivia page, like one of the trivias at the very bottom was like, in the movie, Tom Cruise sings Free Fallin' to celebrate a good thing happening. The character is also still in a free fall. That's not trivia.
That's dumb. That's something that you just. I think the biggest song to come from this movie, though, is "The Secret Garden" by Bruce Springsteen. It was a song that came out, I think, in '95, and they put it in this. And I remember this song vividly being on the radio. And if you looked at my Instagram, the picture and all that stuff, whatever I do for this, the song that is playing is Bruce Springsteen's Secret Garden, but it has lines from the movie put into the middle of it. That was what was on the radio that I remember.
That had the Jerry Maguire lines in it?
Yes, it had the lines.
I don't know the song. I don't even remember it from the movie.
You don't even have to know the words because that's what Bruce Springsteen sounds like. But I think it's a great song for this.
Good. I will say that both times I watched it, I was a little I didn't like. This is Cameron Crowe being too like much of a rock god for his own good. I don't like Shelter from the Storm being the closing credits.
Such a weird choice, right? I had it written down.
Totally match this movie at all. It's a sweet and beautiful song. I love that song. It just doesn't feel like it should belong to this movie.
It's but that's the thing with like Bob Dylan too. Like I think about Hurricane in the middle of Dazed and Confused. It's so good in that, but the song itself is a weird choice for them walking into the pool hall or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Shelter from the Storm was a weird one to put at the.
I think the directors love. I love Bob Dylan so much, but like. He's a weird artist. You have to have a very specific vibe for his music to match up. Anyways, it was just so strange after Jerry Maguire to hear Shelter from the Storm.
I'm glad you brought it up though. Yeah, because I definitely had it listed here as something weird. I'm skipping out on our F, Marry, Kill this week.
Hey, you can't F, Marry, Kill every week.
You can't just do it every week, guys. Yeah. I mean, it's Jerry freaking Maguire. Who do you think gave the best performance in this movie?
I guess Renee Zellweger, yeah. I mean, Cuba's pretty good.
Cuba is good. I think I listened to a podcast about Jerry Maguire. Because I steal all my ideas from them. But no, they raised a good point about the Cuba Gooding Jr. performance. It's like he is in the role where you think that he would overact the hell out of it, and it's honestly so restrained. Like his character is big and like boisterous and all these things, but it's still it's such a. I think it's a good performance.
I think it's a really good performance. I will say I'll give it to Renee Zellweger because I do think I may be wrong about this, but my impression of what Cuba Gooding was like at that time of his life is very similar. Like the high energy, all of that stuff. I think he probably is comfortable there as a person. Renee Zellweger has to embody this single mom as a 26 whatever, like, and is killing that. So I'd probably give it to her a little more.
Yeah. I think I just remembered this. Whenever Cuba Gooding Jr. says, and then Tom Cruise tries to replicate that at one point, like being mean to him. He said, it's so bad. It's so bad. All right. Recasting. If you could recast this movie in 96, or if you wanted to do a remake in 2026, who would you choose?
So in 96, like most of the things to talk about were people who were actually considered or auditioned for the role.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I came up with would be a Reality Bites reunion with Winona Ryder, Ben Stiller, and then Janine Garofalo as Bonnie Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
You have to give somebody up. Jamie Foxx auditioned for Cuba's part, and I think he would have been great.
He would have been great. I said Will Smith too, but I think Jamie Foxx is the better one.
Will Smith makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't think of him. Yeah.
I thought for Jerry, I thought like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, well, he pretty much does that in Mighty Ducks,
right?
Yeah,
it's pretty much Mighty Ducks. And then the Dorothy was really hard. Like I think Renee Zellweger is so good in this role that I had trouble figuring out who to put her. And the only other person I could think of was Gretchen Mol, which is kind of a pool.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen her in things before, like Notorious Betty Page, or she's in Rounders.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. She kind of gives me the same Renee Zellweger vibes.
You have to find somebody. It makes her role is even harder in 2026 because I think like 26-year-old actors aren't typically playing as vulnerable characters.
Yes,
we write a lot of strong women now and fierce women, which is great. And then I think like the outward impression in celebrity culture is to also be kind of fierce.
Yeah,
so it's hard to find like somebody I think of as being pretty good at being a quiet, vulnerable person like Renee Zellweger is. Her character is.
Mm-hmm.
In 96, though, I think Uma Thurman's a good pick. I think she could have done that. I don't know exactly how old she is, but she's not so old she couldn't play 26.
No, I think she's probably 26 at this point. Yeah.
And she's she plays in a lot of movies, she plays fierce, but she also plays like very normal and sweet very well. Other than that, I mean, they considered Parker Posey, but she's a little too like sassy, I guess maybe.
Yeah, like that's what I kept coming up to. I was like, no, they just don't have. There's like a wholesomeness to Dorothy. There's it's like wholesome but not taking advantage of, but also like I don't know. It's very Bridget Jones, like
yeah.
So I think,
and then Jennifer Lopez came up, who I'm not a fan of her acting, but I think she kind of could nail a role like that pretty well.
I could see that. I liked your little casting with because Winona Ryder was supposed to be in it, right?
Yeah, I think that's where I started with that, and that made me think. Well, then Winona Ryder I'd written down because I think she was considered, and then I thought of Janine Garofalo as Bonnie Hunt, which makes sense. When I thought of them together, I was like, oh, we could bring in like Ethan Hawke or Brad, but I think Ben Stiller would be
good.
Would be good, yeah.
Because then it's not a parody of Tom Cruise; he's just Ben Stiller, and he brings something to it. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Did you do anybody for 2026?
I wrote down a lot of ideas, but they're not great. Here's my favorite. Hear me out. He's a little too old. He's too old, but like Shia LaBeouf.
Oh man, I love putting a Shia character in movies like this, especially
the sincerity and earnestness. I mean, I know he's got a lot of problems in real life. I know that, but like the sincerity and earnestness he's good at in movies, and the craziness a little bit, the unhinged kind of quality. I think would work pretty well. Zac Efron also made sense to me.
Yeah, I really like that. I like the Zac Efron one. Chat said Toni Collette, I'm assuming for 1996 for Dorothy. Yeah, I mean, Toni Collette can do everything, in my opinion. So,
especially thinking of her coming not that long off of like Muriel's Wedding, where she plays a meek kind of character. That makes a lot of sense. Coming off the Oscar noms or like movie noms, I didn't know the guy's name, but from F1, that Damson Idris guy,
Yeah, I
I
think
think
he's
he'd be a
good.
good Cuba.
I had Michael B. Jordan as Jerry Maguire.
Oh
In
yeah,
this. I thought he would be
yep.
good. And speaking of Cuba Gooding Jr., his son Mason Gooding could play
Oh.
Rod. I think, and he's been in a few movies. He's been like the Scream franchise. He was
Mhm.
in another horror movie. He's in Booksmart. He's the like one of the love
Yeah,
interests in Booksmart. Yeah, I think he could do it. Rod.
yeah,
So
absolutely. I think it's good. Denzel Whitaker, I think, has the. It's trying to find somebody who's like the right age range and like also. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. 's small for a wide receiver. That's why they like wrote that line in, but like still seems like an athlete. He's believable as an athlete physically.
mhm.
Um, So Denzel Whitaker's kind of got like a bigger build. And then the only one for Dorothy, because I said it was hard to find like actresses nowadays in that age range that do vulnerable kind of and sweet kind of well. Elle Fanning, I think.
Yeah, I really liked her in Sentimental Value. Did you like
I
her?
like her in everything. I'm a big fan of hers.
She's great. She's so good. I
Like, I
honestly
do
like.
love that in Sentimental Value, like her role is to like be a part of a movie and then realize that she doesn't belong in this movie and she's
Mhm.
why is she here and then leaves that movie, which is also what happens. I mean, that's what's the plot of her character is, and also
Yeah,
like what she's doing in that
it's
Norwegian movie.
yeah, she's good. And she surprises me every time. I don't know why I have ever doubt Elle Fanning, but every time she shows up in something, I'm like, oh, she's miscast. She's not good in this. Like I thought that last year when she was in the Bob Dylan movie, I was like, oh, she's so miscast in this movie,
Yeah,
and she's great in it.
she's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Did
good.
you ever watch The Great?
I did not watch The Great.
The Great's really good, and I think you'd like it a lot. And it definitely for what's his face? What's the guy? Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Hoult is so good.
Nicholas Holt. It is a showcase for both of them being hilarious comic actors, but also with a lot of good emotional range. And so that made me a hardcore fan of both of them.
Um, yeah, I've always wanted to watch that show, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So maybe sometime.
Yeah.
The only person that I had for Dorothy, I was trying to think of somebody that is around this age. It's so hard. I was trying to think of either of the girls from the movie Heretic, Chloe East or Sophie Thatcher. Chloe East is the one I kind of lean to. She's very good in that movie and ends up being a big part of it. So that's what I came to. So
Yeah. I don't know if our young actresses like are in rom-coms a lot. In the 90s they were.
yeah,
And it feels like there's probably like just like a group of actresses and actors who do romantic movies in the sub like sections of streaming services or channels or whatever like that happen all the time. But the big famous celebrities don't just do straight up romantic comedies that much
well,
anymore.
yeah, everything's a streaming movie when it comes
Yeah.
to rom-com. And I do think that they've made hopefully I'm right about this, but I think they've been trying to narrow those age gaps in those rom-coms so it's not
Yeah.
35-year-old Jerry Maguire hooking up with 26-year-old
Mm.
Dorothy. So I think that's
Well, and then there's part of me that's like I keep forgetting that as I get older, all the actors do too. And
yeah.
then but then also like older actors and actresses now just look better than they ever did before.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, we should get like Isla Fisher in there, like thinking of like Now You See Me.
Yeah.
And then I looked her up. She's 10 years older than me, which is fine. She looks amazing or whatever, but she's 49 years old. She probably shouldn't play the role. But she, I guess in her day, she would have been a good Dorothy.
Oh, okay. Lana Condor, I think from To All the Boys I've Kissed Before. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. That'd be a good one. Yeah. There's something about this character that was really difficult for me. And like you said, like I can't always put Zendaya in things. I can't always put Sydney
Right.
Sweeney in things, and Timothy
There's
Chalamet.
obvious ones. Like Timothy Chalamet would, after like watching Marty Supreme, would be a great Jerry Maguire. That's how it would happen. But it's so obvious as to like you don't want to say it even.
Yeah, I even when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, he's giving me real Timothy Chalamet vibes here. So
Listen, I showed up to the Oscars to Marty Supreme wanting to be a hater. I was
Yeah.
ready to be a hater on Timothy and on the Safdies. And man, I love that movie so much.
I did the same thing with Wonka. Whenever I suggested Wonka to you, I was like,
didn't hate him yet, but like, so I didn't really know anything about him. I didn't hate him. I just thought the movie would be bad, but he was amazing in it. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he had free breakfast to choose from, so like, how could he not be a good actor?
That's true. That's so true. Courtney Eaton. I don't know what she's from.
Yeah, and a little bit what I was trying to say is also like there are a lot of good actors. I barely keep up with current movies and current hot actors, like who's big right now. But then there's a lot of actors in the world who would be perfect at Renee Zellweger and Jerry Maguire, and I just don't know who they are. So I just got to work with the people's names I can recognize when I Google.
Yeah. All right. Fun facts. What did you learn about this movie?
Oh, not much.
We went over some of them.
Yeah, you go ahead.
The part of Dorothy Boyd and Jerry Maguire was originally written for, weirdly, Winona Ryder and Tom Hanks. This is the part that Tom Hanks was unable to commit to the project due to his work on That Thing You Do. Ryder was able to commit, but when she worked with Tom Cruise, they looked like brother and sister. So they were like, this isn't going to work.
Yep, that makes sense. The line you complete, I just wrote this text, was funny. The line you complete me has been used in both the MCU and the DCU. Tony Stark says it to Pepper Potts in Iron Man 2, and Joker says it to Batman in The Dark Knight. It's funny that somebody noticed and wrote that down.
Yeah. The song that Dorothy and Jerry have sex to is called Haitian Fight Song by Charles Mingus. So
what is this music? Shut the fuck up. What do you think Jerry Maguire listens to? Well, he listens to fucking Tom Petty, right?
Yeah, I do think it's funny that he turns on the radio and doesn't know any of the songs that he keeps turning to. Yeah. That makes me think of that's Tom Cruise in real life. He's never heard a song. He doesn't know what music is. Tom Cruise is an alien, and Scientology is correct. So, yeah.
Scientology is correct. Renee Zellweger's line, "You Had Me at a Hello," was the inspiration behind Kenny Chesney's 1999 single, You Had Me from Hello.
Ugh.
And then they got married for 4 months.
Yeah, big woof there. Regina King was actually pregnant during the filming of this movie.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting, yeah. Which is cool. I'm glad it didn't slow her down from working and stop anybody from working with her. That's pretty dope. I mean, that trivia didn't say. I wonder, like, was she as pregnant as she seemed in the movie?
I assume she was. I mean, decently showing it, because even at the end, we didn't even raise. I didn't raise the timing of this in the ridiculous moments, but like, I feel like she's pregnant for what we're supposed to believe is like a year, and I think this movie takes place in 3 months. Actually. Yeah, right. It's weird. So I don't know. The manifesto memo mission statement was directly influenced by Jeffrey Katzenberg's tirade after leaving Disney, which I thought was kind of funny.
I saw that. I didn't write it down because I wanted to go look it up and see what that was about. I'm kind of curious what the content of his tirade was.
And then Jeffrey Katzenberg goes over and makes DreamWorks and then says, "Screw you, Disney."
I mean, DreamWorks successfully prized the monopoly of those movies away from Disney.
Yeah.
Before that, there was nothing. Nothing big.
What else?
The film was screened in the White House for President Bill Clinton. I don't know. Just thinking about him sitting in the White House going, "Shoplifted the pootie." Like,
what do you think of that, Hillary? Shoplifted the pootie.
It makes me laugh thinking about his dumbass sitting there.
I think the human head does weigh more than 8 pounds. I think that's
well, people have different sized heads, so it
has
to be bad. It's not like I bet people walked away and were like, "Yeah, I learned that from Jerry Maguire." And it was like, no, that's not.
But I guess Jonathan Lipnicki just showed up to the set that day saying it, and Cameron Crowe was like, "Yeah, that's funny. Let's keep it."
Yeah, which is good. Yeah,
that's funny. What else?
Oh, this is crazy. Like, this is Tom Cruise's 5th consecutive film to gross over $100 million domestically, and 5 in a row. So, A Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with the Vampire, and Mission Impossible. In this one. So, I mean, he's can't be stopped.
Yeah, Mission Impossible comes out, I think, like 5 months before this one does. Like, it's a summer release and just crushes.
This is the era of like People Magazine. Tom Cruise is everything.
Yes, this is the height of Tom Cruise. So good for him.
The Tom craze.
And then he works with Spielberg for a couple movies after this.
Yeah, and War of the Worlds is kind of the beginning of a little downturn.
Yeah, I actually went back and watched War of the World. I like that movie.
Did you?
I like that movie a lot. let's see. Anything else that I
Oh,
had?
I got one more that I think's worth sharing. That Woody Harrelson turned down the role because he said nobody's going to give a shit about an agent.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Um, Tom Cruise admitted later that he did not remember that he was in Rain Man with Bonnie Hunt. He thought she was joking about.
That's funny.
Cool. He's a cool guy. He's a real cool guy. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Like a Fine Wine and Dish. If you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
All kind of obvious ones. Any Given Sunday and Moneyball makes sense.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up Rain Man as a Tom Cruise movie with a similar plot, a cynical person who like becomes, more open and loving. So that makes sense. And then just it was funny because we were just talking about Marty Supreme, but like this movie, if it was made now, would be made by the Safdies, and it would be tense and anxious
Oh my
the whole
God. Yeah.
time. Because that's kind of what this movie's doing, but it's Cameron Crowe, so everything feels a little safe the whole time.
I would love to see them do a love story. The Safdies do a romance.
I would love that too. Because Uncut Gems and then Marty Supreme, it's like you may be able to get away with that a third time. I watched Marty Supreme and I was like, I'm not sick of it. Yeah, it's pretty much Uncut Gems. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna have to do something else, and it'll be interesting to see them have to stretch, or him, I guess now.
Yeah. And I guess The Smashing Machine by Benny is like the closest we get to like a romantic movie.
Yeah, the relationship is pretty central in there. I thought The Smashing Machine was pretty decent. Like it didn't blow me away, but
the makeup to make The Rock look like he does is pretty impressive.
And I'm a hater of The Rock. I don't like him as a person.
No,
and
he did good.
And he did really good in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't lie. Yeah.
I just think that was a boring freaking movie to me.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty boring.
For a movie about MMA and stuff, I think it was just like, it was kind of boring to me. I had Up in the Air.
Oh yeah,
as
makes
a
sense.
pair to this is another kind of like, hey, this is my job, and then kind of getting his heart softened a little bit by this, new person that he's training, and then this woman that he meets. So Up in the Air, I thought was good. I had Moneyball down as well, and then Elizabethtown I had just because they're both movies about young successful people that suddenly have the rug pulled out from under them, and then have to figure out what they're about in their life. Elizabethtown is not a great movie. I love Elizabethtown.
Yeah, I know you do.
Not a great movie at all. And I think if you watch Elizabethtown again and hear the lines that are being spoken and you remember Jerry Maguire, you're like, oh yeah, these movies do matter who says the lines. Even some of these lines are not great, but Tom Cruise saying this line as opposed to like Orlando Bloom saying a line is a big difference there.
Right.
So,
that makes sense.
yeah. Anything else that you had?
Nope.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to throw this one on again?
I gave it a 2, because I guess a 1 would kind of mean like only under duress would I watch it, and that's not the case. But I probably won't watch this movie on purpose again.
Yeah, I give it a 4. I really like this movie.
You like this movie?
I think it is a better rewatchability rating than it is an actual movie.
That makes sense. I do think that you're right. I do think it is rewatchable because of the little moments that you like and the little lines you like, and like Jonathan Lipnicki, and like there's a lot of things in it that like I wouldn't mind seeing again. But I'm not going to put this movie on again.
Now, overall, what did you give it? 1 to 5.
So I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I think I wrote that down like 45 minutes into my second watch, and by the end of my second watch, I was like, I should give it a 3.
Yeah.
I think this movie like succeeds on its charm and its confidence.
Yes.
And there are a lot of little things that are good. And if you scratch at the surface, it's not that good underneath. It's a mess. But like, yeah, I don't need to punish it for that. I listed a million problems I had with it, and they bother me because it could be a lot better. And I was hoping for a lot better when I watched it. However, it's not a bad movie, and it's definitely a good like Sleepy Sunday kind of like throw on, nostalgia throw on the TV kind of thing. So
yeah, I gave it a 3.5, but in my review, I was like, this is both the worst and best script ever. Like, it is so uneven. The performances are weird. Like Tom Cruise is weird, and yeah, I don't know. But the charm of it is like
Yes.
I gave it that extra half-star bump up because
Mhm.
I was like, it's just so freaking charming. There are so many scenes in this where I'm like, yeah, I could watch that again
And
and be like, well,
every person's in on it. Like
yes,
nobody's just doing a job. Every person is helping like make this 2.5 hour behemoth like rise and float and it works pretty well, I think.
yeah. I think this movie is just full of charm. So
Mhm.
that's what I got. Well, thank you, Ryan. Again, we've got 2 more of these to do. So thank you for hanging out with me and talking movies. Anything that you want to recommend? I know you've been doing the Oscar death rates, so I didn't know if there was anything in there.
That's all I've been watching. So I don't know that we should have a whole Oscar talk, but I mean, did you we could talk about one or two real quick. I mean, you wanted me to watch. I made fun of Kate Hudson being a bad
Mhm.
actor, and I watched Song Sung Blue. Song Sung Blue was a delight. I
It,
love that movie.
it's such a boomer movie. too.
It's such a boomer movie, but also I was doing the Oscars death race in like 9 days, and I was watching long, sad, intense, like thoughtful movies. And in the middle of it, just to have like a love story about some decent people doing their best to have fun,
Yeah.
have a family was so nice. And Kate Hudson was so good at it.
She gives me like there are times in her performance where I was like, oh, she's giving me a don't you know. And then there are other times where I'm like, oh, you're really good. Like I wish
Yeah.
you were in more movies that were good. And not some of the stuff that she
The
does
charm and
put
Hugh
out.
Jackman's so
Yeah.
good. I think that like I think we
I
know how
think he
good
is punished unfairly. I think
I
Hugh Jackman
agree.
is great.
I've never seen him give a bad performance. Like
Yes.
he's been in bad movies. He's been in like he's made weird choices that are easy to make fun of, but he's never given a bad performance. Like
Right.
he's so great. And I said it to Sage. I was like, look, I know men are the devil, but it's really nice to watch a movie that's just about a pretty good guy. Like it was
Yeah.
really welcoming to be like, oh, this is a guy. He's not perfect, but he's just doing his best. And like he's sticking his dad to these kids. He's trying to stick with his wife, after tragedy.
He asked his stepdaughter to freaking shock him back to life.
That's crazy. That scene doesn't make any sense.
It's just
Get a
so
doctor.
funny. Get a doctor in a hospital.
Get a nurse.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
Lightning
that
and
was weird.
thunder, baby.
So I was just gonna bring that up as an interesting one. And what else? The Blue Moon. You told me to watch Blue Moon. And I'm a big Richard Linklater fan. I'm a big talky, yappy, should be kind of a play kind of movie. I love old Hollywood theater stuff. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, but I thought it was pretty great. I enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. We were talking in the Discord, which if you haven't been joining us, you should join us in the Discord. We talk about movies. We're talking about the Oscars. Sarat was one that kind of surprised me. Do not read anything about Sarat. I made that mistake, unfortunately, with some of the moments in that movie, but it is. I mean, I think it's only an hour and a half, or it's a shorter movie. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But a really great movie about a father and son trying to find his missing daughter, by going to these raves, and trying to find her there. And that's all the details I'll give you. I think it's definitely needs.
Yeah,
attention.
it was really refreshing. And it was my pick for best international film. Now I think like some of the others, like The Secret Agent and The Sentimental Value are like types of foreign film that we talk about in America sometimes, and they're very good and maybe better than Charat, but they're like Sentimental Value is this type of Ingmar Bergman Scandinavian film, and The Secret Agent is this type of South American dealing with the trauma of bad government kind of film, and I love those films. They're great, but they're like entries into a style. And whereas Charat came and was like its own thing and surprised me and had its own vibes that are very distinguishable from a lot of other movies. So I said, I'm gonna go, since I can't pick between all of them really well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it at the one that pleasantly surprised me. So
It Was Just an Accident was another one that I really enjoyed, especially like finding out how like it was filmed and things is fascinating.
And we should be talking more about heroes in oppressive countries who are saying, I'm gonna use my activism is gonna be film, and I'm gonna do it under the penalty of death. I'm an artist. I will make art even if it literally kills me, and I will speak truth to power even if it literally kills me. That makes the people who made that movie way better than whoever Timothy Chalamet being a really good actor in Ping Pong. That's I think Oscars probably should take more time to praise that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see in 8 minutes when it comes on. if you want to keep that conversation going, like I said, you could join our Discord, follow us on Instagram, or check out my letterbox, see what I've been watching. You can also see the movies that we will be watching later this year. Next week, we're going to be continuing our Oscar theme dedicated to the films that were nominated for Best Picture at the 97 Academy Awards with the movie Mike Leigh's Secrets and Lies. I've never seen this one, and I believe we'll be live next Monday, if that's still good.
It is still good. Sunday might be good too, but we can talk about that.
Yeah. Well, just keep an eye on the Instagram, and you'll know when we're doing it. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on 52/1996.
Love you, baby.
We spun the reel through desert storms and courtroom cries. Love letters burned, planes went down, truth hid behind the lies. From snowbound crimes in Fargo streets to agents running wires, we laughed with Gilmore, screamed in masks lit, theaters on fire. It's 52/1996, let the credits roll tonight. Good movies, bad movies, all of them in the same rewind. 1 year, 1 week, every frame gets its time to shine. We'll see you next story on 52/1996.